First sheet again. Big opening. Pass 5. Pass 10. Perko is a man. And he goes all the way to the 15-yard line. 17 yards of the carry.
Back to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by betonline.ag, Oak Ridge Wealth Management, and our newest friends at Cherubundi. That's right. We got some tart cherry juice in the house, and we are excited about that. We'll be telling you a little bit more about Cherubundi a little bit later on in the program. But as always, I'm Matt Perkins, joined by the Hebrew Hammer himself, Badger legend Matt Bernstein. Bernie, how you doing today?
It's a big day here.
Big day.
For horrible football weekend, if anyone really wants to get into it. The Jets lost, it looks like a fourth grade basketball game, 10-9. It was very brutal to watch. It was raining the whole time.
The Bills got blown out.
Which is sad. And they got blown. What do you mean, the Jets?
No, the Bills. The Bills got blown out.
Oh, why would you bring this up? So then my fantasy team's a joke, but I might win. But
yeah, Shakir and Allen
both
stunk for you yesterday.
Oh, man. And the Mets are on right now. So like I got one thing to melon hold my hat on is the Mets potentially winning one game. That was kind of good, Matt Perkins.
I like that. I like that a lot. The thing that I'm hanging my melon hat, the world's most durable hat on this week, is the fact that Wisconsin gets to play Purdue this weekend. And if there is a team, there's a couple teams in worse shape than the Badgers right now. Purdue is definitely one of them. They fired their offensive coordinator yesterday I guess I would say a little bit surprised. When Purdue hired Graham Harrell, I actually thought that was like a really good hire, air raid, cradle of quarterbacks, and Purdue and everything, but that just has not worked out. We'll be talking about Purdue much later on this week. For today, we are here to do Monday morning fullback. It might be the afternoon where Bernie and I are, but it's still Monday morning on the West Coast, where the Badgers played this past weekend at USC and ended up winning 38-21. We'll be getting into the good, the bad, and the ugly from that game here in just a minute. Before we do, though, want to remind everyone tuning in that we continue to be presented by betonline.ag, the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for everything football. BetOnline has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the game. If you think you know your stuff, get in on the $200,000 mega contest. Pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of that big $200,000 main prize. When the game's over, head on over to the online casino, get in on a game of blackjack or poker, or unwind with over 150 different slot games. Head on over to the website today to get in on the action. That's betonline.ag. BetOnline, the game starts here. And obviously, our close friend, I'd say maybe the best friend of the pod, Chris Anicetti, and his team over at Oak Ridge Wealth Management. If you are a professional athlete, going to be a professional athlete, or a college athlete with NIL sponsorships, Chris Anicetti and his team over at Oak Ridge Wealth Management are the people to get in touch with to get your money right. They do one thing, and that is take care of athletes. They know how hard you work every single day on the field, so they want to make sure your money is working just as hard for you off of it. They take care of your finances so you can focus on what you do best, and that is perform on the field. Get in touch with Chris on Instagram at OakBridge WM_Anicetti. That's Oakbridge WM_ANICETE, or head on over to the website at oakbridgewealthmgmt.com. That's Chris Anicetti and Oakbridge Wealth Management. And Bernie, our newest sponsor. We got a new sponsor. I'm excited, Bern. We got Melon a couple weeks ago. I've been really warming up to this Melon hat. I'm not going to lie. I wasn't like 100% in, but I'm not going to lie. I'm in on this. Even as much of a dad hat of a guy as I am, like I've been very, very impressed with this Melon hat. So you know what? They say it's the world's most durable. They're pretty durable. They're pretty brutal. I'm not going to lie. I'm a sweaty guy. I got a sweaty head, not getting any sweat stains on this. So I am liking that a lot. So for hoping that durability hangs up, because I need to be able to hang my hat on something right now in my day-to-day life. One thing though, that we can also, I don't know if we can hang our hat on it, but we can definitely make sure that we are in a good place to hang our hats. Cherubundi, natural products and ingredients used by the Badgers and every or nearly 500 collegiate and professional sports teams, 10 of the last 11 Super Bowl champions. Every team playing in Europe or Brazil this season had Bundy with them on the plane. 66 out of 67 Power Four conference football teams, and every NCAA football and basketball national champion since 2007 has had Bundy on the sidelines with them. Tart cherry juice is a natural anti-inflammatory with incredible benefits, including reduced soreness, increased recovery, improved sleep, and a highly supported immunity. You can get them almost anywhere. Amazon, cherubundy.com, and retailers nationwide. Get in on some of this tart cherry juice. I'm not going to lie. I had Bundy a while ago before my palate changed. Wasn't really for me. My wife's a triathlete. She loves it. She swears by it. She's been drinking the stuff for a while after races. They sent us some burn in the mail, and I had some yesterday. I needed a little recovery for other reasons after the Badger game, and I was feeling pretty good after I had it last night. So, you know what? Shout out Bundy. Make sure you check out more at cherubundy.com.
Let's just say I drank way too much and then had one, not knowing if that would help or not, but everything helps. And I went to work out and I had one today as well. So I thank you, Bundy, for getting me right in a bunch of different ways.
Yeah, I also had a post hangover Bundy, and it was very necessary. And it helped me feel good. I was like feeling great by the time the Bills. I was like not feeling great Sunday morning. Had my Bundy and a smoothie. They also send us these packs that like you can put in smoothies. I'm excited to try those as well. But I'm feeling great by the time the Bills game started. And then like an hour and a half into that game, I'm just like, oh my God, my Sunday is completely ruined. So not the best football weekend for any of us. And that really started with the Badgers. So Bernie, it's Monday morning, Fullback. Let's get into it. Don't forget to check out our rapid reaction podcast that Bernie and I did with James White and Sojourn Shelton. You can find that on the YouTube page, in the podcast feed, anywhere you get podcasts, on the Money Down podcast page, YouTube page, I should say, as well, which is the James White, Sojourn Shelton, and Warren Herring show. So make sure to check that out for some rapid reactions, some really good insights from some former Badger legends, James and Sojourn. I'm assuming the Mets just scored as Bernie is shaking his hands like that. You know what, Bernie, do you want the best result? Oh, best result today is a split, because then both teams get in the playoff.
Yeah, whatever. I mean, I'm fine. I just want the Mets to be there at some level. I mean, please, God, let me have something.
Well, Bernie, where do you want to start then? With the good, the bad, or the ugly?
Well, since we did do the rapid reaction, I thought it would be interesting for us to do. I have two thoughts that I want to talk about. I think one is we can do an ugly, because I think there is a huge ugly that actually has nothing to do with the game. And I want to ask your opinion. I haven't told you this, but I want to hear your thoughts on it. And I think we have to really drill down on the offense. Okay, we lost 38-21. We competed. There was good to me, a lot of good. I think I want to focus on the offense, because to me, it was not good. Even though we competed, we got punched in the mouth. We came back and scored. We stalled, and then we really got nothing going. And everyone's harping on the fumble punt. Huge play, totally. I'm not going to say it's not. But again, I think Sojourn said it. It's one play. We never did anything after that to get the pendulum back on our side. That's a Barry term. The pendulum's going to swing, the momentum. We never did anything. So this is a little bit of a rant, but I want to focus on the offense. And Matt Perkins, do you want to do the ugly first, or do you want to save that surprise for later?
I like surprises. Let's save it for later. Let's say I want to start positively today. I'm not going to lie. I want to start positively today. Because I was really down after the game. And part of that is because I consume way too much Badger social media. Mm-hmm. And you want to talk about pendulums, Bernie? Badger fans on social media, any fan base, it's not just Badger fans. As a rabid Badger fan myself, like you're going through all the emotions, on these game days. You're going through like, holy crap, I can't believe, we've scored 21 points. We're getting these turnovers. Guys are playing with energy. And then it's like, oh man, we're screwed. Fire everybody. And it's just like, no, the truth is in neither place, right? And so one of the things though that really sort of hit home with me that James and Sojourn were talking about is that like the defense actually didn't play badly. The defense was on the field for 82 plays. 82 2 plays. They gave up 5.7 yards per play. That's not terrible against an air raid attack.
Compared to how many Badgers were on there for what, 50?
52.
I mean, you're doing 30 plays. We'll get into it more, but that is a huge difference.
The Wisconsin averaged 5.5 yards per play. USC averaged 5.7 yards per play. Is it skewed by Neal's at the end? Yeah, a little bit, but like at the end of the day, USC on average gain 0.2 of a yard more per play than Wisconsin.
But if you have 30 more plays,
that's
5.7.
That's 150 plus more yards.
That's a touchdown, at least.
Yes.
At least. I mean, listen, if you give Anthony Davis, right, or Brian Calhoun or Lee Evans, any of these dudes, 30 more opportunities to touch a football or something to happen, Bollinger, Sorgi, stop. Like, it doesn't matter. I can name everyone I played. Brandon Williams, that guy could turn a 1-yard catch into a touchdown. If you give these dudes opportunities, bad things happen. I think the defense played well, but I think the offense didn't keep them off the field, and it killed the defense. I mean, it's not. Yes.
So they were gassed at the end.
I'll let you go.
And they were gassed, and so they couldn't they didn't get to the home to the quarterback as much, but they had 17 pressures in that game. They had 17 pressures. USC had 3. Now I know there's a discrepancy in dropbacks there, but yeah, like Wisconsin's in the first half, they were getting after it, man. And then they just it's those same guys logging snap after snap after snap. And I want to get into some of the rotations here in a little bit, but I still don't understand, I still think that they as a unit, they played extraordinarily hard. They played 4 quarters and they didn't give up, and they were still playing hard in the 4th quarter. So you know what, I'm going to give my good of the day is going to be to the defensive effort and the offensive line. That's where I'm going.
I don't really want to talk much of the defense because we did with Sojourn but I really do
listen when Sojourn talks about defense. By the way, listen when Sojourn talks about defense. He knows his stuff super well.
Dude, on almost every play, we were right in the hip pockets. They just made plays. Now, what I think an average, if my brain is anything, what an average play count is usually in the 60s. So it's not a huge difference from the Badgers having 52, but it is when one team has 52 and one team has 82. And I think no one understands that. You're averaging in I remember it's 65 to 70 if you're lucky, 75 if you're really controlling the game. We didn't do that on offense. The offense scares me only because, one, the improvement by the defense makes me happy. They were rushing, they were slanting and angling, they were doing things to confuse USC. The one thing you'll know about, at least what I saw from USC, is you can tell that that's a team that has played championship football because they literally stuck with their game plan the entire game. They didn't stop
throwing. They did not stop throwing the ball.
They didn't stop throwing. They didn't stop doing what they wanted to do. The only thing that stalled them was the 3 turnovers in the first half. That's really it. I mean, that stalled them out, and they never stopped. If you look at the Badgers, we did a first half where we changed it up, we mixed it up, we threw some deep balls. We literally got smacked in the mouth. That's another Barryism. And then scored a touchdown. That, to me, the first half on offense was pretty good. I was pretty excited about it. Now, what I do think that we go to the locker room and we're not, I don't know this for a fact, but it seems like we're just not picking up on tendencies that we could take advantage of. And it feels like to me, just of every team coming out, that they figured it out or figured something out. Hey, we can attack this. We can do this. We can stop this here. We can do this. And it just seems like maybe we're not coming out with anything new in the second half to confuse a team. I've never seen the second half scripted, but maybe it makes sense to be like, hey, there's 3 plays we're going to throw in here that are so different. It seems like 21-10 is not in college or even in the NFL. You watch teams go up 50 points. Look at that. Georgia came back from down 35. You cannot sit back and just chill. This isn't the old school Badgers where we run power and have a 16 play drive and take 20 minutes. That's never going to happen again. Time of possession, terrible in my eyes. I mean, we had it for less than 20 minutes. They had it for 40. You can't win football games that, no matter what.
No,
they had a pick 6. So you throw that out the window. We lost by 2 touchdowns, but we were so vanilla in the second half that you can hear it's a little frustrating for me. Everyone's all the Badger alum, I think everyone who's a Badger in general, is saying our identity is still confusing. And I would say that's true on
Well, it's
offense.
like, what's the identity? Because like I thought what we saw in the first half was the identity that this offense was going to be from day one.
Yep.
What were they doing? Pushing the ball downfield, right? Taking some shots. Not going to hit them all, but you're taking the shots. And you throw them, and Vinny Anthony makes a hell of a play, right? Bryson Green makes a hell of a play. That's what they're there to do, especially Bryson Green. Like that's what he does. I don't know why he doesn't get 3, 4, 5 downfield shots every single game. And you say, you know what? Like, this is what he does. This is what he does best. This is what he's the best on the team in doing. Like, give him a shot. Give him a shot to go up and make the play or get a pass interference call. Because guess what? College DBs aren't making those plays 9 times out of 10.
And Sojourn said that. Sojourn said that it's that's why they play DB, because they're not. So if you
throw the damn ball downfield, push
a competitive ball should be an offensive. The probability is more offense, right? It's unless it's underthrown or something else happens into double coverage. But if it's a one-on-one, so this is what I'm saying. Our guys can make those plays. Yes. I have faith that they can. I think
Me too.
So then but
then you get the domino effect from that too. It's like, okay, now those safeties have to take, a half step back. And then full step back.
Will
opens up the run game, opens up Will Pauling underneath. So but the second half went away. We're just like, let's run into the line. Let's try to make little flare screens and stuff like that. I understand. Like it looks like they're trying to get the ball in the hands of Tretch a little bit more. Great. I love that. But what was working? Throwing the ball downfield. Keep doing it until it absolutely stops working, and not even with drops. Like I'm talking until he's intercepted multiple times, because that was the one thing that really did seem to be working. That's what got this offense going, was pushing it downfield. Yeah, there may have been a couple shots in the second half that were overthrown, but I mean, come on, keep doing it.
And I actually like Braden Locke throwing deep ball.
He was more confident in this game in that first half than he has been his entire career in Wisconsin. I was like, this is the Braden Locke that earned himself a 4-star reputation in high school and set a bunch of passing records, because he was stepping up in the pocket. He wasn't, he wasn't bailing. He wasn't getting. Now in the second half, what did I say before this game was one of my biggest concerns with Braden Locke? What was my biggest concern? Passes batted down at the line of scrimmage. First half, none. Second half, 3 or 4 batted down at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And when you have those drives, it's what do we have? 3 plays, 2 plays, 4 plays, 3 plays, or something for the drives in the second half. Part of that's because those balls are getting batted down the line of scrimmage. You're getting into, you're getting behind the sticks.
Yes, it's very frustrating. I would say.
Here's my rant.
We're short. No, it's all good. Again, you have, to me, 4 or 5 wide receivers. You have 3 backs that all need touches. How do you get these guys going? How do you get them fired up? How do you get them the ball? I asked Sweetfeet, because he's played on teams with dudes everywhere. It can't be easy, right? But you have to have plays. You have to mix it up. Vinny Anthony going deep, we haven't seen that in 2 years almost. This is one first time, and it was a productive play. I think all these dudes can do it. That's what is more frustrating, is get to the 40-yard line, just do it. Get to the 50 and throw it up in the end zone. Throw a route that 2 guys can go up and get it. What's the worst? It's intercepted in the end zone and our defense goes back out. Or the flip side is you go 3 and out. And what's the difference there? There is no difference, except you have a chance at a touchdown. I think I'm not in these meetings. I'm a couch potato watching these games. I would really enjoy to see Braden Locke literally say to himself, you know what? F it. I'm going to take a bunch of chances because I'm good enough. I'm confident enough to do these things. He threw a dart. I think he's got a good arm. Might not be the longest arm. He can't throw the ball 80 yards, but who cares? Most of the game, you don't have to do that. So I want him to be confident. I want him to come out and say, you know what? This is my team now. And F it. I'm just going to do it. I mean, you can't play any other way. You have to just let it go. And I want him to just say, you know what? Let it go. I mean, here's the thing, though. Bryson Green and give him a wink and just say, go deep, dude.
Yeah. And I don't think he has to be worried about a starting spot. It's his to the end of the season.
No, it's not.
So I feel like you can you play a little bit more loose when you've got that, right? You're not worried about like, oh, if I, yeah, he kind of the same thing with Mordecai last year, but even then, still, there were many other quarterbacks on the roster who could have potentially pushed for some playing time. Whether it was,
I don't think it's his job. His job security is not an issue here. It's just dude. You played so well in the first half. Just don't. I don't know. You just can't sit back. You can't just be like, all right, we're just gonna let things kind of just flow. Like you really gotta be aggressive. You gotta stay in that mindset of, dude, we need to score points. Like we need to keep doing this. Throwing deep balls and having them picked doesn't annoy me. Throwing underneath 4-yard routes or going 3 and out, that annoys me.
So throwing routes that are way short of the sticks on third down that don't have any blocking set up for them, or throwing a swing pass to your slowest running back on 3rd and 10, like
but these
that
are plays
doesn't excite me.
I mean,
yeah, I understand that. I understand that, but
I got some like potential play calling things that I also.
we're already hearing the bad, so let's just get into it then, because
you look at all these other teams, they have 500 plays. And I'm not saying we should have 500 plays because if you don't do any of them good, but you look at a lot of teams and they can do these plays good. We don't confuse teams. We're not moving. We're not motioning. We're not. We are at certain points, but then we get away from it. It's like we get up and then we're like, okay, cool, game's over. Like, let's take our foot off the gas. And I haven't seen a jet sweep. Like, if Longo hates it, cool. But like, we got dudes who can run, and give Vinny Anthony one of them.
Will Pauling.
Give anybody. I don't really care who you get.
Aaron Dupree.
Katie any one of these. Dupree's dude, we had a lot of rants, but Dupree was the weirdest. To me, that was the weirdest playing
that we saw him in the first quarter and then didn't really see him again until the fourth. Like, I would have loved to have gotten him. So like, he was running hard. He was playing well.
Yes. Listen, again, I sit on the couch.
You and me both.
2 girls who are bouncing off the walls. And I'm watching and I'm like, oh, Dupree's in. This is great. And what I like about freshmen who are ready to play are that they have no other thoughts but the play goes to this gap or this gap. They're not thinking of anything else because they don't know. They hit the gap, they get the ball, and they go hard. And what's weird is I think that guy could be good. He could be really good, but I don't understand why you play. So this is my thing. Are we getting the right guys? We have 5 wide receivers. Should we only have 3 who have enough touches to really get going? We have 4 or 5 backs played some kind of snap.
5 backs. We had 5. We had Malusi, Walker, Yakimelli, Aker, and Dupree all played snaps.
So like, maybe that's a coaching thing. Like, hey, we're going to play the guy who wants it the most, but 5 guys and then rotating and then not. Dupree did not look bad to me to not garner more snaps.
No, definitely not.
And then to fill it in, I think we don't play enough offensive snaps to get. You have 5 guys. And we have 52. If I'm not a genius, but that's 10 snaps a guy, if that. That's
and obviously Walker and Malusi are going to play more snaps. They're the veterans. Right. They're the senior leaders. They're the guys who are, proven, who have done things.
So wait, Matt Perkins, break it down because we did this yesterday about the snap because I don't think we're getting anyone rolling as we should.
We're not
because everyone's playing 20 snaps, 15 snaps.
No, if that the snap counts were like wildly fluctuating, and it seems like they fluctuate game to game. And I get that, like you have different situations, different packages, different guys are maybe nicked up, different guys are showing something in practice. You have a better matchup in a game, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You want to bring a freshman along slowly, like that's fine. I'm because it seems so herky jerky in the back with the backfield rotation that I am guessing because I obviously don't know this for sure. I haven't talked to anyone. I don't know anything. I haven't talked to anyone. I don't know anything. I would imagine that having much like on a basketball team, if your minutes are being moved around wildly, you're coming off the bench for 2 minutes one game and 24 minutes the next game. I would imagine it is much harder to get into the rhythm of the game when that is happening. You would know much more than I would there.
Yes. The only thing I'm thinking back is like AD played the whole game. And if he needed a break, somebody else went in. We didn't really rotate that much with Anthony. At least I don't remember that. Then Dwayne came along and he got some rotations. but it was AD was the main dude.
And Book got some
sometimes-
rotations when he was in there too.
and Book.
Yeah.
But Book was literally, he was the third string guy. And most of the time, if AD wasn't playing or hurt or whatever, those two guys competed in the game for that spot. And you watched in 03, we played Ohio State. Booker got a majority of the carries. In 03, we played Michigan State. Dwayne had the majority of the carries. So you're looking at different, and those are two games I can remember off the top of my head. But these guys who had the hot hand, and they went with them, and they kept going with them.
And guys, I guess that's what I want to see more. It's like at this point, when you have 5 backs, you kind of you have to ride the hot hand. You have to have
you can't
feel
sub 5 dudes in to find that guy. I mean, you're never. Then Ches is sitting out for 5 series.
Yeah.
Like to me, it just it makes it very difficult. That's just what I'm saying. Is like it seems like, how do we get these guys rolling? And then on the same time, like I remember, Jonathan Orr and Lee Evans never came off the field. And Brandon Williams, if it was 12 personnel, would come off, right? And because 2 tight ends. And we had a tight end most of the time who never went out for a pass or never really caught a pass. And then you had the other guy who would catch. So we were limiting guys. We only really had 3 guys who were going out on routes, depending on personnel. 21. I mean, that was Tony Pascioti most of the time, and then it became OD. But Tony Pascioti wasn't running deep routes and and nothing against him, but he was a blocking tight end. So think about it. When we would do 21,
Tony's not running that skinny post.
He's not running the skinny post unless he's a diversion. But think about it. It was me, Tony, AD, and then you had Lee Evans and Jonathan Orr. You're only throwing it to 2 different guys, right? So like to get these dudes rolling, there was only 3 options on that field. It was Lee, Jo, and AD. And I think with the air raid, there's a lot of options. I don't know the air raid well enough to say, how do you get these dudes going without saying first play, Bryson Green? Like just literally going, first play, we're going to throw it to him. Second play, Vinny Anthony down the field. Third play, Will, you're up. Or Will, you're getting a jet sweep. And sitting there and going, I have to figure out a way. We have to stay on the field, and I have to get the touches in the 7 or 8 guys who I am the most confident in. And that to me is what we need to do. All right, we spent a lot of time here on this.
We did. Let's finish up with this, with your surprise.
Okay, so here's my surprise, Matt Perkins, and I would love to hear I'm still getting texts, by the way. So I would love to hear your thoughts. There was a plethora of social media posts. This is my ugly, because now social media is here and everyone has a voice. And I'm not saying it's bad if you use it for the right things. There were some superstar studs to me who I'm like obsessed with, who were all saying the same things. 4th and 1, air raid. We're doing shotgun on 4th and 1. This is ugly. We had Braylon come out and say something that was truly like,
stirring the pot.
Stirring the pot and like conspiracy theories.
I don't think it's conspiracy theory. I think it's.
I don't think it's conspiracy theory, but it makes you think, because he didn't really come out with anything that said like, this is what's wrong. It was more like, I can't wait to tell you my thoughts, and it makes everyone start thinking, what are his thoughts? However, to me,
hold on, I will. Quick interjection. We're trying to get those thoughts on the money down. So just keep that posted.
Listen, we did. I would love to get him on here eventually. Also, what I'm saying is to you, Matt Perkins, is all of that outside is negative. I mean, it's negative. It's not like, hey guys, keep your heads up. Don't worry, you had it, and then so. My question to you is not so much a surprise anymore since I've embellished it, but does that hurt a program? Does it help a program watching basketball players and old football players say things? What do you think that the social media, the behind, the alumni football players are all talking about? I mean, I'm getting texts from like literally everyone. We have group chats that people are not the happiest. I send it to you. That is my ugly. I don't disagree with all of it. I don't agree with all of it. I don't disagree with all of it. 4th and 1 out of the shotgun. And I mean, it's not brain surgery what we're doing. We're just not passing it. I mean, you line 11 guys up in the box. We didn't even need to go guard Bryson Green, who ran out. Like, there's no reason. So my thing is, so that's what it is. That's my ugly. I would love to hear your thoughts on what those comments mean. I mean, those are people with voices. What does it mean for the program, the kids, the students who are playing to see that happen, the coaches? I mean, everyone's seeing it.
So my first thought is that it's better than apathy. It shows me that people still really give a crap. It shows me that people are still really invested and want the best for this program. They want this program to succeed at a level that I still think is more so than a lot of the prominent alumni of other similar programs. I feel like the Wisconsin community, Wisconsin alumni base is very connected and passionate, and that's a good thing. I'd much rather see that than a bunch of people like, whatever. Because as someone who goes to a lot of Vanderbilt sporting events, it's not a lot of fun attitude to be around. It's really not. My second thought, my first visceral reaction was never go on 4th and 1 from the shotgun ever again. And I'm wrong about that. And that is the wrong sentiment, because there are a lot of really great options on 4th and 1 out of the shotgun if you're willing to move your quarterback. If you're willing to move your quarterback, read option, naked boot even, or, especially with someone like Locke, who no one thinks is going to move. Like, to me, that's where you go, that's where you fake student body left, basically, to Tawi or whoever was getting the ball and tuck it, because no one's expecting Braden to take that. No one's expecting Braden. Now, maybe someone makes a good play, he gets tackled for a loss. That's better than just taking a shotgun running into the line to me. If you want to plunge straight ahead, give me the pistol or give me under center, because I want that back when he is getting the ball already moving downhill. That is my thought as an amateur offensive coordinator who was elite at one point in like NCAA 03. But those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts on that. I think it's great that all these people are passionate about it. Phil Longo's under a lot of heat. It's understandable. He knows he's under a lot of heat. I'm 1,000% sure he is as frustrated with the results on the field as every single person who is calling for his job is. So I try to leave my frustrations for the results and not the person. I try to leave my frustration with the, in this case, the play call, and not necessarily the person or even the scheme overall. So for me, this is I'm glad to see that, everyone from Kendrick Pryor to Frank Kaminsky is, still really engaged with this.
Listen, I agree with you on that point. I love that everyone is such a diehard Badger football fan that everyone is saying something. I don't disagree. The 4th and 1 call was to me, it was not the right play.
No, it's not the right play call.
There's other plays. There's maybe an option to have it a pull, have Braden pull it. There's all these things you can do, not just a straight counter into the line of scrimmage when, everyone and their grandma knows that that's coming, right? You have to have a little wiggle in there for something.
It wasn't even counter. It was just like outside zone. It was
whatever it was. It just wasn't. You had two guys pull from the other side. It doesn't matter. It still doesn't
either. Whatever it was, it didn't work.
You didn't have a 270-pound fullback who's almost guaranteed a yard every time he touches it.
Yeah. They had Aker. They had Aker out there. I would have almost rather seen Aker on fullback belly, and a quick hitter there. But obviously, you can't do that if you're not out under center. Different story.
I agree with you on that. Listen, I'm sure that there are players who are not happy with the Jimmy thing, the Jimmy not getting hired,
of course,
the Coach Fickle, the not being used correctly. I don't know what happened with Braylon at all. I'm assuming that he didn't like his playing time. He didn't like the scheme. Maybe behind the scenes, they're like, dude, this isn't kind of the offense for you. Look at the Jets. He's so successful on the Jets because that is the perfect offense for him.
Yeah, he lines up in an I formation and goes downhill. That's what he.
And that wasn't Phil Longo's offense. So I can understand that. I'm very interested to hear what he says.
Me too.
But it's when you went from Coach B to Belima,
Anderson.
Coach B did things that were I actually thought it was the right hire. But once he was hired, he canceled people's scholarships. It's behind the scenes, there could have been people saying, hey, this guy is doing some kind of not nice things. But in the game of college football 25 years ago or 20 years ago when this happened, people did that all the time. Just no one said anything. You couldn't get it out on Twitter. There was nowhere to put this. So all I'm saying is that these different things, guys are going to be happy and sad. I do like seeing people, but they're, say things on social media. I just don't even know how I would take it as like a kid on the offense. Like, do you second guess things that come in? Like, I never heard. The only time you read something was like in the newspaper or online, but I never went online to read anything. But in the newspaper, it'd be like, oh, they didn't get it on 4th and down. There wasn't a lot of like, how dare you run a power on 4th and 1? Do you know what I'm saying? Or
Yeah.
like, so I don't
Because
know.
those voices aren't getting to you if they're,
Well, they weren't, and because there was only 3 papers, you'd read, and they're not like hating on the offense. I mean,
No.
Granted, in 2004 we were one of the worst offenses ever, but we won, so it didn't matter because we were one of the best defenses. Another long rant, but I don't know. It makes me nervous to, like somebody like Braylon has a voice to like really come in and throw a wrench in a lot of people's mentality about the new program and what's happening. And well, I'm just so curious, but I'm also so scared about it.
I'm not scared about it. I'm not scared. Like I'm not scared about it. Like I'm just to me I'm not saying it's a non-story. It's a story. It's a story when your most prominent, very recent alumnus, like the most prominent alumnus of the program since Jonathan Taylor, 5 years prior, like goes out and really says something like that. But I don't think that it's like, I don't think all of a sudden, like, Darian Dupree is like, oh my God, like, I can't believe that, like, I'm questioning everything about my choice to come to Wisconsin. I don't think that, Will Pauling is going and running around being like, oh, I don't know. I don't know if this is the, like, I just don't.
No, I don't think there's that. I just don't want to, like, I never had a thought. There were sometimes, I think in Michigan State was the only time I was like, why are you not calling my number? But guys wanted the ball. Everyone wanted the ball.
Yeah.
I don't know if I second guessed the play call compared to the why are you not giving me the ball one time? So that was one game. The rest of it was you trust that the play call that comes in is the right play call, right? Like that's as an offense, you can't be like, maybe this isn't the right play. In my brain, I was like, this is the right play. Even if I didn't like the play, 122 slide draw, I was like, oh no. But in the game, I'm like, it makes sense in this chess match of calling plays. I just don't want our guys to be like, oh, I don't trust X, Y, or Z, and now I'm not. Or you start reading things or seeing things, and you're like, I don't know if I fully trust Phil Longo or Fickle. I mean, that you can't bring that kind of, you can't let those thoughts creep in to your head. It has to be 100% going forward. I mean, you are a warrior. You're not the general. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yep. You're a soldier, not the general. So.
You're a soldier. You need to go forward and listen. Yes. A lot of people get killed that way or sacrificed in this, in everything. War, chess. If you're a pawn, dude, you're going forward, right? You're not the king and queen. I just want dudes to be like, I'm just going out there. I'm going to play Braden Locke. Just go out there and throw the ball downfield. Dude, you can do it. Like, you are good enough to do that. And you have guys who are good enough to go up and get it. Yeah, not every play. Like, don't do it every play. There's some other plays, but take shots. Live free. Enjoy it.
Live free.
But like, you can do it. And yeah, I don't know, like, we're not in the huddle and we're not being told what to do, and you don't know what the schemes are, but I haven't seen an audible. I don't know if they're allowed to do that. I used to hate when Brooks would go audible because I'd be like, what the hell is 60? Blue 60? Because we were always red, AT, red something, or, red some number, which basically meant nothing. That's just kind of the cadence. And then he'd be like, blue 60. And I'm like, yo, what? We don't practice going blue 60. And blue 60 was as a pass play. I think it was like 60. It was like max protection or whatever it was. And I was like, man, I'm just going to block anyone blitzing because I don't know what to do on this pass play. But everyone else should, like everyone else should now just go out in the flats, if anything. But I just remember that distinctly with Brooks. I'd just be like, Brooks, try not when I'm in the game to go blue 60, or at least turn around and tell me what the play is so I know what's going on. I mean, I love the audible, but if you see a press, dude, give him the wink. I don't know, do something. Give him like the fingers. So we used to
Little
do in high
helmet tap.
school. Yeah, the helmet tap.
Yeah.
Like, dude, just give me the ball. It could, I don't know. All right.
That's
I'm
where we're
interested
at.
to see Purdue. We beat them, 18, 17 years in a row?
17 times in a row, something like that.
So,
yeah.
like, let's just keep that streak going.
Let's do it.
Let's get back on the right path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's that would be very nice to get a win, comfortable win. One where we can really get into rhythm on offense would be really, really nice. So that's where we're going to leave it today here on Believe in Badgers. Thank you to everyone here tuning in to the show. Please like, subscribe, rate, review, unsubscribe, resubscribe, re-rate, re-review, all that great stuff.
Get your hats and drinks.
Get your melon hats, the world's most dependable hat, and some Cherub Bundy. I drank this during the freaking podcast, Burn. I'm already feeling better.
So yummy.
So
who knew?
Thanks for tuning
juice.
in. Thanks for tuning in to Believe in Badgers on the Believe Network, presented by BetOnline.ag and Oak Bridge Wealth Management. Melon hats, Cherub Bundy. Shout out to all the sponsors. Keep them coming. Keep supporting the people who are supporting us. Always. Until next time. On Wisconsin.
Big week.
It's always a big week, Burn, when I'm with you.
Always a big week in the Big Ten.